you've touched on the word crystal a number of times. There'll be people listening that won't even know what you mean by that. And I'll frame it with this: as my mum over the years has like she's given me crystals, and I've got some in my kind of wash bag in the in my bathroom. Um, and I did actually have some really cool bracelets that I wore for some time, but for whatever reason I don't wear them at the moment. And I'm a novice in terms of understanding what they are. But please, you mentioned you invest in crystals. What in the hell does that mean?
Yeah, actually, in Australia, you have the biggest crystal valley in the world.
Wow.
So, yeah, what does that mean? It's like if you work with the pendulum, or even we
Hmm.
have now not appliances, machines that can measure electromagnetic frequencies. It's not a big thing anymore. It's not weirdos walking around with pendulums and measuring. It's science. I have a left brain that's pretty active, and I love the science part.
Cool.
So actually, crystals just enhance the properties of a certain area, and they enhance properties in us. And I tell people, look, man, you can invest 200K or 500K, the bigger investments, and still be an asshole. It doesn't matter. Crystals are living things, living beings, and you can tap into them on a certain level. And sometimes you tap into them on a certain level, and then you download what you just remember because everything is in you already. But let's say for, you know, this podcast, you download into your system and you're done with it, and you can sell it or give it away. This is why a lot of people say, I don't feel this necklace anymore, or I don't feel this. But what I discovered through this project that actually is the biggest in Australia, last year I had the opportunity of kind of being not the co-founder, but I kind of I'm good at building systems. So I built a system that's similar to this Crystal Valley here in Slovenia, because I worked for 4 years with a couple that are the owners, and with a really with a guy that's been in crystals from the age of 10. So he's been in crystals for 30 years, and we tried it here. It was amazing. It was like, and I'm coming to the investment part. I just want to give you kind of the
No, no,
background.
please, as
Yeah.
much as possible.
And it was like, some people came and it was just like, yeah, I feel a little bit, but it doesn't matter. And it was interesting because I saw that some people felt like, wow, I really feel this crystal. And I said, yeah, of course, because it's on a piece of land, and the crystal is just enhancing this, like, heart energy, or like higher connections up to source, or with different civilizations, alien civilizations, and you're connecting with your oversoul or stuff like that. But I saw that people were buying this because we want a piece of this to take with us. And I saw that, like, the prices were actually going up every 6 months. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I started buying crystals for myself that I felt that would help me. And I started building like crystalline grids for companies, and also for flats that people would feel better, because some are hypersensitive and they live in the city, and you have a lot of, let's say, I don't like saying negative energies because they're just frequencies on a lower level,
Mm,
but let's call it negative energies.
mm.
And I just saw that, the prices were changing. And I said, okay, that's interesting. And I saw that people were just asking me what they should use. And of course, I have this merchandiser in me. And I was like, yeah, you can buy this, but this is cheaper and it will work the same. And people just started asking me, but yeah, but this is a great investment. If you build the biggest crystal valley in Europe, and it's like, this year it's just booming, like, with people. I'm not working there anymore because I just felt that it's not a part of my path anymore. But I'm still working with crystals because they are a smart investment, and they're not an investment just because I had this moral issue, that they come from other countries, and they kind of leave the country of the origin they were produced. And I actually meditated on that like for a couple of months. And like the feeling or the transmission, whatever you want to call it, was like, look, our planet is so potent that if it decides, we can be gone like in 1 week. Because the planet, it's like the film Avatar is a documentary, it's not a movie. So it was just like, just relax, because this is a means of just raising the vibration of people. So it's not black and white, because I'm kind of drawn to black and white things, and it's a thing I have to work on every day. And the message was just like, the business you're doing is higher based, even if the crystals comes from somewhere else, not Slovenia, for example, or they come from Australia, like opals, and they're brought to Slovenia. So just relax. And when I relaxed with that, I just saw that, some people can invest in stock, which is fine. I don't I generally think that you should invest where your frequency level is. Otherwise you will freak out. But some people said, no, I don't want to invest in normal things. I want to invest in things that will build the network. And crystals actually build crystalline grids all over the world. And Bitcoin, the Bitcoin network or the blockchain, is the same system. And I saw that when people buy crystals, it's a multi-dimensional investment, which for some people, when I started explaining that, it was just like, what fuck are you talking about? I can feel it, but like on a mental level, it's
Cool.
like, wow, no one has ever explained. So most of the investments I do with people, it's just like we sit down, we do most of them, like 90%, we do the meditation. And then I just say, okay, these crystals are good for you as an investment, because the prices go up 50 to 350% every year on certain crystals. That's insane.
And that's because what, the demand for them is just growing faster than supply.
They're limited. Like this crystal,
so they're scarce, basically.
Scarcity. This crystal, like Moldavite from Czech Republic or Germany or Czech Republic, it's like it's limited. The Czech government only allows one company to kind of harvest this crystal.
Interesting.
And the price, like 10 years ago, if you would buy like 3 kilos of Moldavite, you would pay around 10,000 euros. Today you would be a millionaire.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what I like about it is it's hard to call it a yield, but there's a human benefit to owning it. Yeah. It's not like you're getting paid rent or you're not getting a dividend, but like you could buy a load of these things, chuck them in your basement, and you might feel better.
You actually, this is what I suggest to people, like even listening to this podcast, go to someone you trust. This is really important. Ask him which crystals would be better for you. And when you put it in your like house or your company, the frequency will change. Because crystals, their function is to just embrace frequency and to lift it to a certain extent. And again, I'm not a moron. You can buy for 200,000 euros of crystals. And I know stories of actually in America, people now give it as insurance. I know a story like 10 days ago that a guy bought a crystal, like a huge one, and he sold it for 2 million euros. And the guy he sold it to gave it as a bank insurance for $100 million business. Wow. So we're going into this direction, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.